In the center of St. Peter's Square in Rome stands an 85-foot-tall, 326-ton red granite pillar known as the Vatican obelisk. It's nearly 2,000 years old. Originally, this obelisk stood in Heliopolis, Egypt, dedicated to the sun god Ra. Around 37 AD, the Roman Emperor Caligula ordered it to be transported to Rome. Imagine the effort: hundreds of workers, giant ships, and sheer human strength carrying this stone across the sea. For centuries, the obelisk stood in the Roman circus, a place of entertainment, but also of death. Chariot races, gladiator fights, and public executions happened there. According to tradition, even St. Peter himself was crucified within sight of this obelisk. For early Christians, this stone became a silent witness to their suffering. When Rome declined, the obelisk remained, weathering centuries of change. Then in 1586, Pope Sixtus V ordered it to be moved to the very center of St. Peter's Square, where it still stands today. At its top now rests a Christian cross, a powerful symbol. What was once a pagan monument to the sun, God now serves as a marker in the holiest Catholic city. Before we begin, let me make something clear. This video is not made to degrade religion or to protest Christianity in any way. Christianity has shaped the world for over 2,000 years, and billions of people today live by its teachings. Instead, what we're doing here is looking back with curiosity at the physical traces that history, tradition, and legend have left behind. We want to see some of the relics that mark the beginning of this faith, where they are today, which ones are hidden, and which ones are on display. We want to ask how many nails were used to crucify Jesus Christ, what happened to the cross and the crown of thorns, who was buried under the holy city of the Vatican, and what relics might still be locked away in its archives. And finally, we'll ask, what does science say about all these claims? Which relics stand up to testing, and which remain mysteries of faith? So let's begin our journey into one of the greatest mysteries in history. Where are the remains of Jesus and the relics of his crucifixion today? Imagine for over 2,000 years, billions of people have followed the story of one man, Jesus of Nazareth. His teachings shaped empires, inspired movements, and transformed history. But here's a mystery almost nobody talks about. Where are the physical remains of his crucifixion? The cross he hung on, the nails that pierced his hands and feet, the crown of thorns placed on his head. Are they lost forever? Were they destroyed? Or are they still hidden somewhere today? To understand this, we need to go back. In the Roman world, crucifixion was brutal and shameful. Victims were nailed or tied to wooden beams. For the Romans, crosses were disposable. Once a body was taken down, the wood was often reused, burned, or discarded. But for early Christians, the cross of Jesus was no ordinary piece of wood. It was the very instrument of salvation. Imagine if you were one of his followers back then, BC, wouldn't you want to protect even a splinter of it? Yet for the first 300 years, Christianity was illegal in the Roman Empire. Many believers were persecuted, and relics of Jesus, if they existed, had to be hidden. That's why the story of the relics really begins with one woman, St. Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine. In the year 326 AD, Helena traveled to Jerusalem. Tradition says she discovered the very cross of Jesus, buried beneath a Roman temple. From that point, pieces of the true cross began to spread across the Christian world. Churches from Rome to Constantinople claimed to have fragments. But here's the problem. By the Middle Ages, there were so many pieces that skeptics joked you could build an entire ship with them. So, which pieces were real? Were any real at all? Modern science has tested many wooden relics. Most date to medieval times, long after Jesus. But some pieces, like fragments kept in Jerusalem, remain difficult to dismiss entirely. Helena's search didn't end with the cross. Tradition says she also discovered the nails that pierced Jesus. Today, several churches claim to have them, in Rome, Milan, and even Cologne. Some were forged into crowns or swords as symbols of divine protection. But science again raises questions. Many of these nails turn out to be ordinary Roman nails, common across the empire. A famous case in 2011 revealed nails linked to a Jerusalem tomb, possibly connected to Caiaphas, the high priest who condemned Jesus. The discovery was sensational, but scholars remain divided. Still, the idea that a Roman nail might have held the Son of God is a mystery too powerful to ignore. Then there's perhaps the most haunting relic of all, the crown of thorns. According to tradition, it was preserved in Jerusalem, later transferred to Constantinople, and eventually brought to Paris in the 13th century. For centuries, it was displayed at Notre Dame Cathedral. When the fire of 2019 devastated the church, one of the first questions asked was, did the crown survive? It did. Today, it rests safely in the Louvre's treasury. But here's the twist. The crown that exists today is woven of reeds, not thorns. The thorn branches may have been lost centuries ago, or removed piece by piece as relics for kings and nobles. Not all relics are small fragments of wood or nails. Some are towering monuments, standing right before our eyes. In the center of St. Peter's Square in Rome stands an 85-foot-tall, 326-ton red granite pillar known as the Vatican obelisk. It's nearly 2,000 years old. Originally, this obelisk stood in Heliopolis, Egypt, dedicated to the sun god Ra. Around 37 AD, the Roman Emperor Caligula ordered it to be transported to Rome. Imagine the effort: hundreds of workers, giant ships, and sheer human strength carrying this stone across the sea. For centuries, the obelisk stood in the Roman circus, a place of entertainment, but also of death. Chariot races, gladiator fights, and public executions happened there. According to tradition, even St. Peter himself was crucified within sight of this obelisk. For early Christians, this stone became a silent witness to their suffering. When Rome declined, the obelisk remained, weathering centuries of change. Then in 1586, Pope Sixtus V ordered it to be moved to the very center of St. Peter's Square, where it still stands today. At its top now rests a Christian cross. A powerful symbol, what was once a pagan monument to the sun, God now serves as a marker in the holiest Catholic city. And this raises a question: if such a massive monument of pagan origin is preserved and displayed at the Vatican, what else lies hidden behind its locked archives and underground chambers? But beyond monuments like the obelisk, what about the tomb of Jesus himself? And what does science say about all of this? What about Jesus himself? The traditional site of his burial is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. Another possible site, called the Garden Tomb, is also venerated by Protestants. But here's the key difference between Jesus and every other religious figure. Christianity claims he rose from the dead. That means there would be no bones to venerate, no remains to keep. For believers, this is why you won't find Jesus' body anywhere on earth, because it no longer exists here. Science, of course, looks at these claims with skepticism. The true cross? Most tested fragments come from medieval centuries, not the 1st century. The nails? Some are ancient, but proving which crucifixion they came from is impossible. The crown of thorns? Radiocarbon dating suggests the reed base is very old, possibly ancient, but not definitive. The Shroud of Turin? Some scientists argue it's medieval, others claim the image on the cloth defies explanation. The scientific verdict: there's no proof that any surviving relic directly touched Jesus, but absence of proof does not equal proof of absence. So, where are Jesus's remains? Some say hidden relics still exist in secret vaults of the Vatican. Others believe they've been lost to time. Science remains cautious, history is full of legends, and faith insists the greatest proof is not in relics, but in the resurrection itself. Maybe the real question is not whether we can touch the cross, the nails, or the crown, but whether these relics still touch us, by reminding us of a story that continues to shape the world. Because sometimes the greatest mysteries are not about what we can find, but about what we continue to believe. Let's stop here today. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your opinion in the comment section as we wait for part 2. God bless you.